The thing about Orlando is that it's one of the sex trafficking capitals of the United States because of Disneyland. There's so much international tourism. When people drop their kids off at Disney, you know, a lot of these men will go off and they'll want to party. This is what makes it attractive for the sex traffickers, is the demand.
When investigators blew in the windows of this Washington Shores home and found suspected victims of human trafficking inside, it was the evidence they needed to arrest career criminal Richard Rawls one last time.
I'd really like to see what this house looks like after all these years. I've heard so many stories about it.
This man is accused of running a house of horrors. They say you're a career criminal. Haven't you learned your lesson?
What did I do wrong?
The 75-year-old accused pimp has allegedly been recruiting inmates from a women's prison in Ocala and forcing them to prostitute to make him money.
He would have somebody at his house surfing the website all day long, and they'd be looking for girls that are getting out soon. Looking for girls that didn't have a place to go, people with drug histories or prostitution type charges.
If you go and you Google prostitutes in Lowell, people will pop up, and then they look through pictures and be able to decide who they want to write. Okay, how much money do you think this face will make me? Anybody can write anybody in prison or jail.
How many women were you writing to in prison?
2 or 3.
2 or 3. What were you writing them for?
Conservation.
I was searching for love in all the wrong places. I have been molested and I had been raped when I was 16, so I didn't have that love. When Rick started sending me the letters, he told me everything that I wanted to hear, such as I wasn't going to be a prostitute anymore. If I wanted to get high, that would be my choice. But I would come home and I would live in his house and that everything would be okay and he would be the love that I was searching for.
There it is.
But when I got to Rick's house, it was a completely different story.
The reality sets in once they're there. It's like all of a sudden we just left one prison, we got into another where they can't leave.
Richard, how many women did you have in that house?
Like 25, some block. Yeah.
And I really felt like if I left this person, they will kill me.
Richard Rawls was the first sex trafficker convicted in the United States for trafficking women from prison. The only thing special about him is he got caught.
This story doesn't end with the arrest of Richard Rawls. A year-long Guardian investigation has found that the Rawls case is part of a pattern of recruitment and exploitation that is happening across the United States. As America's female prison population booms, jails and prisons are becoming the new hunting grounds for human traffickers. Human trafficking takes many different forms, but is defined by exploitation. It often doesn't involve criminal gangs or people transported across borders. It can be very small and very local. Pimp-controlled prostitution is now recognized as one of the most brutal forms of human trafficking in the United States. It is characterized by violence, manipulation and coercion. It works like any other business model. The seller is the pimp or trafficker who is profiting from prostitution. The customer is the sex buyer or the John. And the commodity is the victim.
At about 14, 15 years old, I started sniffing cocaine and drinking and smoking pot. And for my friends, it was like experimenting. For me, it was escaping. Just trying to escape all of the stuff that was happening at home. My first boyfriend, he was 24 years old and I was 14 years old. He's having me have threesomes with different men. And I'm thinking he's gonna love me if I do this. But that romantic relationship ended up turning into a really exploitive relationship. And it started as like, can you like sleep with his friends, do him a favor. I ended up working the streets in Maine, south of Worcester.
Nikki spent a decade in prostitution and addiction, often under the control of different pimps.
I can just remember feeling like really dehumanized, you know, like people looking at me like I was some kind of animal. You know, the soulless feeling of like just wanting to die and waiting for your body to catch up kind of thing.
One of my biggest fears when I was out there was that I was gonna die behind a dumpster somewhere and like a piece of trash and nobody was gonna even know who I was or even care.
I remember being in here a lot, especially like in the middle of the night. I would always try to like go short on my drugs so I could save money to get a cup of coffee. To my first mugshot at 24 years old. And that's halfway through. It's 30 years old, I look like I'm about 50. And my last mugshot, I had just been beaten up by a sex buyer, so like my lip was split, my eye was black. That was my last arrest. You know, I had like taken on this identity of like, that was my only value, that was my only worth to this like world.
I was a victim of domestic violence, and the domestic violence led to drug use. The drug use led to prostitution, and prostitution led to trafficking. The two pimps that I was involved with were both drug users. So everything's fine as long as there are drugs. When there's not drugs, that's when the violence in my situation occurred. I've been raped, beaten, and sodomized by countless times. I can't have lost track.
Marion became trapped in a cycle of addiction and prostitution, disappearing from her children's lives for over 3 years.
I walked away from family members, my mother and father and children. It was very painful, so I tried to stay as high as I could. I tried to blow my heart up. Mother's days that I missed, I tried to smoke enough crack. The trafficker would buy it because he thought those days I might leave and go back home.
Like Marion, many women are arrested for crimes they commit whilst under the control of a trafficker.
We're going to the location where I was arrested. The day of the arrest, my trafficker had sent me out to find drugs, and the rest, as they say, is history. If you could pull over
Anywhere?
right there,
Okay.
by these fences, and this little lot area right here is where they used to sell the drugs.
Okay.
Look at that, it's still there. Wow. This wasn't here before, like this whole fence here, this was like one big open lot. 14 years ago, I was arrested right here. This is a very important moment for me. I haven't been back to this particular spot since that happened. I got 14 years clean to July 29th this year.
All right.
Hey.
All right.
Yeah, God is good.
Isn't that all that is?
The police rode down on us and they turned this corner and stopped right here in front of these wrought iron fences and put us all up against the fence. And I went to jail.
As soon as they are arrested and charged, women are becoming potential targets for human traffickers. In many states, personal data of anyone arrested for a crime is immediately put online. This often includes mugshots, criminal records, release dates, and home addresses. Traffickers are then using this information to locate and cherry-pick their victims.
Come on, ladies.
After they have identified a target, the grooming begins. Women will often start receiving letters that try to establish a relationship.
You hear that door clicking? Typically when you're going through in the units, that click that you hear, and I remember the first time I came back, my thoughts were, am I allowed to leave? Are they gonna keep my shoes? Sometimes still it causes like real anxiety, you know? It's like, it makes your heart jump.
Ladies, one side please.
I just remember the feelings of the dread, the hopelessness, the how did I get here again?
Nikki was an inmate at this jail, where she was also groomed and recruited by traffickers. Now she comes back here to try and stop others from falling into the same trap.
A lot of us don't understand trafficking fully. I didn't for a long time. A trafficker, or a pimp, or boyfriend, or whatever we want to call him, right, is somebody that's benefiting from our prostitution.
That's not worse than the John.
It is. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
They know that we need the drug, and they know that we're like,
Desperate.
we're weak at that point. We're desperate, so they're taking advantage of us.
Did you ever see these men going to jail? Nope. They're sitting outside writing you guys letters, waiting for you to get out so they can victimize you again all over again.
I don't know. I don't think this is my class.
Okay. Yeah, it's okay.
I'm just gonna debate.
And that's fine.
Ignorant. All right, thank you.
Okay.
This has opened my eyes in a bunch of different ways, this conversation, because it makes me realize that these things have happened to me, and I didn't realize it.
Despite the efforts of Nikki and the jail authorities, traffickers are still infiltrating this facility. We discovered that prison bank accounts are a key vehicle for recruitment. In many states across America, anyone is able to send money to inmates, a flaw in the system that traffickers are exploiting.
129.03.
129.03. That's more money than I had yesterday.
Well, put 85 in.
Who?
You don't know?
Yeah, I do. Put a different list.
I hope so. Next.
This is from a guy on Main Street who says he doesn't do dates, but he's a pervert. This is from another date, but he helps me with money, so that's why I keep talking to him. Sometimes you want somebody to love you and you feel like it's real. Sometimes I have a boyfriend, but he lets me prostitute, so I'm like, does he really love me? You know? And he lies to me all the time. So I don't know.
Jill has been in and out of this jail 22 times.
How are you doing? I've been good. I'm gonna make this short and sweet. I'm gonna either send some money or just bring it up to you, LOL. I hope you're okay, kid. If you need anything I can help you with out here, let me know. Much love, somebody. I don't know who it is. Yep. He says that he writes all the girls that get picked up for prostitution. He offered to send me money if we got to know each other better. Yeah, and then when I get out, they expect something. When you're incarcerated, yeah, it gets really lonely if you have nothing. You watch people eat, drink coffee. they just seem happier when they have stuff. When you have nothing, it's like you're really all alone. Sometimes without them, we'd have nobody. My family won't help me, you know? It's lonely.
The deliberate targeting of women prisoners is not something confined to one prison or one state. The same pattern of grooming, recruitment and trafficking is happening across the country. In Texas, The Guardian secured interviews with convicted human traffickers who confirmed the routine pipelining of women out of incarceration.
He got recruited out of jail. Oh yeah, I hear about it all the time. You can write the females in jail, or you might got a cousin or know somebody that's cousin or in jail. So they tell her, hey, my guy wants to talk to you. And next thing you know, you're writing her too. You put money on her books. A lot of people don't have the courtesy of people putting money on their books and sending them letters. So once you start doing that with a person, over a period of time, they become loyal to you. So you just got you a new girl.
A lot of people in my neighborhood never seen a female pimp or whatever they want to call it or whatever, but I didn't label myself as a pimp, you know what I'm saying? I'm just a female with a lot of bitches, you know? I got into their hearts, they fell in love with me. The love they had for me, they was willing to do whatever by making money or whatever they had to do to please me.
You got the boyfriend pimp, you got the gorilla pimp, you got the finesse pimp, and you got the druggie pimp. A finesse pimp is the one that he doesn't care if she leaves. You know, if she stays, she's gonna do what she's supposed to do. We are family, but we're gonna run it like a business at the end of the day. And if you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, there's the door. You have the drug pimp. Those are the ones that's forcing the girls to do stuff because they're addicted to a drug, and 9 times out of 10, the girl is addicted to the drugs. A gorilla pimp is the worst kind of pimp. They beat their women up, they tie them up, they do all kind of crazy stuff to these girls to kind of make the girls stay around.
A few times I have to put my hands on a few of them or whatever, but not nothing brutal, you know what I'm saying? It just like rough them up a little bit, choke them out or something like that, or slap them, but I never like fought them like I fight a nigga on the street or whatever, because they was my girls and I treat them like queens. But when you disobey, you know what I'm saying, you get punished. I wasn't forcing them to do anything. I wasn't making them. All I was doing was showing them a better way to do it, but they were already doing it when I met them. So I didn't feel like, yes, I in my mind I knew it was illegal, but I figured it would be illegal for them because prostitution is illegal. I didn't force them. I just finessed them.
These women involved in prostitution and trafficking are victims, yet we're still treating them like criminals. We're still criminalizing them, right? When you're trying to exit, all of these things become problems. Now you're convicted criminal. You have a record that's extensive, and now everywhere you go, that follows you. Imagine having to sit in a job interview across from a white man of power trying to explain away your prostitution-related arrests and how traumatizing that is. So oftentimes we're like, fuck it, we're just gonna stay in this life because, what options do we really have? A lot of people feel trapped in it.
You have nobody to go to. You have nowhere to parole to. When you get out, it's hard to get a job. You can't get an apartment because you're a felon. You don't have any money to get an apartment. What's the first thing you're gonna do? We are creatures of instinct, of habit. So if we can't eat, we're gonna go to what we know. It's any person, whether you're doing something legal or illegal. You got people that actually know the times that they release women from jail, and they're right there waiting, kind of like cabs and stuff, waiting on people when they get out of jail. They approach them and they ask her, hey, are you all right? And it goes from there.
Fault lines in the criminal justice system mean that women are being released from prison straight into the arms of traffickers. In Florida, Richard Rawls, a convicted sex offender, was able to collect multiple women from jails and prisons without raising any alarms.
Richard, how many women did you have in that house?
Like 25.
John Meekins, a former correctional officer at Lowell Women's Prison, tried to warn prison authorities about rules.
He was repeatedly there picking these women up. People that are releasing the inmates at night, they're sitting there saying, yeah, he was here again last night, and he was talking about, hey, he was here 3 times, you know, last month, and he's going to be here next week getting another one.
A second correctional officer, Teresa Davidson, also witnessed trafficking inside the prison.
I was listening, and all of a sudden, I'm hearing some sex trafficking going on with some inmates. I've spoken with the majors, I've spoken with all of my supervisors, and they're just like, yeah, okay. They don't want you bringing more work to them. They want to just have a nice, pleasant day and move on.
I talked to certain staff members. 99% of the staff members don't even know what human trafficking is. And the whole attitude was, well, who the hell are you, and why should we care?
There are no laws in America on who can pick someone up from prison.
When they get out of prison, we send them out with $50. How long is that going to last somebody?
It's like, here's your money, here's your civilian clothes, here's all the property that you can take with you, and I need to see you get in a car with somebody.
The thing that helped me decide to go to Rick's house is because I had nowhere else to go. He came to pick me up. He brought me 2 sweater dresses because I got out in January. He brought me boots to wear. I got to pick which outfit. When I got into the car, he had a bottle of Heineken and a lot of crack. And I went right back to smoking crack my first day out of prison. The first 2 weeks is like a paradise. It's like going on a honeymoon. They like wine and dine you, give you everything you want. And then out of nowhere, it switches up and they're like, this is what you gotta do. He started talking to me about going on dates, that I was costing him too much money. He was giving me all these drugs and that I owed him. When you have a drug addiction, you will do anything to get that drug. When a pimp gets into your head and then you don't listen to what they say, they use their physical intimidation, and then when you're scared to death of being beat again, you'll continue doing what they want you to do. So I used to stand right here on this corner. And as you could tell, there's people's shoes just laying here on the side of the road. Somebody probably just kicked them off. My view was from up here. And I would just stand here like this. And then people from that way or this way would come, and that's what I would do. Not a life I like remembering, but it is what it is. Yeah, that's Jessica. Can't believe that she's still out here and still alive. Crazy. It feels good to know that I'm going back home to a safe place and I don't ever have to do this ever again. Like, this is past history. This isn't what I have to do. It's not a necessity anymore. It's just what I used to do.
This girl, she probably won't talk to us, but she was just released within the last month. I know her. What are you doing, sweetheart?
Not that great, but I'm okay and I'm alive and I love you.
I love you. Oh my God, Kelly.
All these marks are healing marks from my vasculitis. Got pictures from my liver because of my drinking and smoking crack. I don't do heroin anymore at all.
I love you, Kel.
It's okay. Don't look at me. You're all right.
I love you. I love you too.
Thank you.
Okay. It's actually sometimes really heartbreaking. Because last time I was up at the prison, she was there, so I asked her when she was released from incarceration, and she said the 12th, and what has it been, 2 weeks? You know what I mean? And like, just the decline is so quick.
Women released from jail in Worcester have almost no access to recovery or support services. Nikki is their only safety net as they cycle out of incarceration and back into the hands of sex buyers and pimps. One of these women is Jill, who showed us the letters in jail. After being released, she is now back on the streets.
Thank you. I'll be there very soon.
With no funding for a safe house, the only place of refuge is Nikki's drop-in centre.
You know, Sharon. I know. I was saying we hadn't seen her in so long. We have everything that they could need, from like long sleeve shirts to shoes, pants, t-shirts, underwear, bras. She always finds good stuff.
I do. I do.
She always does.
Gassed up. Yeah. Can't like just shut the door on people and say, well, you know, she's had 20 arrests. She's never going to change. You can't do that because you don't know if time 27 is it. You just keep helping people.
I'm so sick and tired of going in and out, in and out. Nothing ever changes. I don't want to die. It really upsets me, it does. I wish I was never an addict. But we don't wake up saying, hey, I want to smoke crack and shoot dope all my life, you know. I never fucking did, I know that. I woke up knowing I wasn't going to have a best life, but I didn't wake up thinking I was going to have that kind of life, you know.
That was when I got into my first relationship that I had talked about. This was me at my house when I was a kid. It's my mom and my dad. My graduation from nursery school. I was involved in dance when I was a kid, so that's me. It's my sister Katie. What's that? What's that? Can I have this hand? 1, 2, 3. Boo. I never thought I could be a wife. I never thought I could be a woman of dignity and respect. I never thought I could help other people. And like, God has seen fit for me to have all these things, and I'm just really grateful.
You know you. Hey, baby. Yeah, I like those too. We're gonna be sneezing in a minute. This is my oldest daughter, Tasha. This is Tasha Jones, my oldest daughter. And this is
Saya.
Listen. My youngest granddaughter, and this is my step-grandson.
In Chicago, Marion has also left her life on the streets and has rebuilt her relationship with her family.
We used to go looking for her with our Uncle Rodney. We used to go on the west side of Chicago. Some people say they saw you, then we'll go there the next day or next night and go looking for you. But we will never find you. Never worked until you got locked up.
14 years ago, I was in custody on the other side of those buildings in Division 3.
My mom was in jail, and that's when we talked to her again. And it's been uphill since then.
Marion now works for the sheriff of Cook County, just a few hundred yards away from where she was jailed.
And she helps a lot of women. I love it.
Spending time with my daughter and grandchildren at the same location that I was in custody, and the place that I now basically have my ministry and my work, is an absolutely amazing and surreal feeling. It's lovely.
Marion broke free from her trafficker because she received services and support in jail that offered her a way out. Yet across America, many others will never break free.
You been here before? When you go out the door, I'll have an officer direct you the rest of the way. When you go out, we're going to go.